This is a Clearview podcast.
Welcome to Carpe Mañana, the show where we talk about how to capture tomorrow today. Man, we are so excited to be with you guys. We've got a full house today with all of our hosts. Let's take some time, go around and introduce ourselves.
So, Dr. Abadan Shah.
I'm Kelsey McKeel.
I'm Rebecca Shaw.
I'm John Galantis.
I'm David Williamson.
And I am Ryan Hill. And we are excited to be with you guys. We are on episode 101.
We did it. Woo!
That's amazing.
Good job, everybody.
That's pretty crazy.
101. And we're into season 2 of Carpe Mañana now.
Wow.
It's
That's
crazy to think about, but we're starting something new this year. Obviously, you guys are looking at us, which is something different than we've done in the past.
Should
right?
we wave to the camp? Should we
should
break the
wave.
first
Yeah.
rule?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello.
Everybody.
It's crazy to think that we don't just have listeners. We also have viewers now.
Yeah, that's
right.
crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. It's so we're doing the video podcast. So if you're at home, if you're kind of at the house, maybe if you're at the car, like you're driving to work.
No, wait.
If you're like operating heavy machinery,
No.
if
Wait,
you're
wait,
like
wait,
driving a
wait.
forklift,
Don't not if you're
Don't-
driving
you
a
can
car.
pop it on
No,
your
no, no.
phone.
While
You
you're
can just
driving.
watch us.
That's
Yeah.
not a good
We
idea.
can't tell people to look at the screen while they're
Hey,
driving.
I
Don't
actually,
do that.
I actually do have, so one of our friends is a pilot, and he's a big fan of the show, and he doesn't know yet that we're doing video episodes. So Simon, if you're listening to this and you're flying, why don't you go ahead and just pop your phone open,
No.
Whoa, no.
go ahead and watch,
Hold on.
pull up video,
That's not a good
Simon, please
idea.
don't.
Please don't
carpemañana.com.
do that,
Send us a
Simon.
selfie of you at 30,000 feet
No.
watching
No,
the show.
don't do it,
That
Simon.
sounds like a bad idea.
Do it, Simon. Do it. If you love us, you'll do it.
That sounds dangerous.
If you love us.
If you love us, you'll do it.
Wow.
Oh man, guys! Well, we are so excited. We've got an awesome show packed out for you guys today. We're going to be talking about our theme for 2022. It's still weird to say that year out loud. It's still weird to write it
is,
down, and I've written it wrongly a few times now. But it's weird to think about. We're in 2022. We're thinking about our theme, our goal. We meet as a staff every year to talk about what the goal needs to be for 2022. But I know before we do that, John, you had something you wanted to read for us.
I want to start one of our new segments, and that segment is fan mail. Where's my phone? Here it is.
There it is.
Got it right here. So this comes from just to kind of keep you guys up to speed, you guys who are watching the video, we've always gotten emails from fans writing in and saying, hey, we love the show. Thank you so much for all your help.
And we really appreciate that.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate that very much. But we wanted to kind of broadcast those, kind of read those for you guys, just so you can kind of see, the fruits that we're bearing. And I think that's going to come in handy for today's. But this is from Robert L. Somebody, Ryan, give me a last name. I want to preserve this guy's anonymity. What do you think the L stands for?
How about Linguini?
Okay, this is from
Linguini?
Robert. This is from Robert Linguini.
Thanks,
You got it?
Sorry,
Robert.
Robert.
Sorry,
Sorry,
that's not
buddy.
actually your last name, Robert.
Yeah. I don't want to. I could have said your last name, Robert, but I don't want to oust you. Here we go. Hey guys, greetings from Delaware. My wife and I have been listening to the show for a few months now, and it's helped us both so much. We're both extremely active in church leadership, and a lot of your topics have helped us move our church in a new direction. Keep up the good work. Blessings, Robert Linguini.
Wow.
Robert, you bless us, brother.
Mr. and
Thank you.
Mrs.
Thank
Linguini.
you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
Are there,
awesome.
are there children Alfredo?
It's Alfredo and paprika.
I love it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
Adorable.
Shout out to Robert from Delaware. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Thank you.
pretty
Thank you for writing in. And if you guys have anything you'd like to write in, you want to let us know how you're liking the show. Maybe you went back and listened to some previous episodes, or you've got some ideas, or you just want to say hi. We'd love to say hey to you. Write in to carpemañana@clearviewbc.org. We read every single email that comes in, and who knows,
Yes.
you might even get your email read on the fan mail segment of the
You
show.
never know.
You
never
won't know unless you
Gotta
write in.
to
So
find out.
That's right. Absolutely.
And I know we appreciate those who just tell us on
Yes.
the way outside, leaving the church or in passing. But we really appreciate when you send us the emails, because then we can have a copy of it and then we can share it on the show like this.
Very true.
So
Very true.
I mean,
really
also,
appreciate it.
you might get a fake last name. I mean,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
that's the best part
That's
of
right.
the fan
The
email.
The best
greatest
part
gift
is if
of all.
if you've ever suffered from identity issues or you just want to start over fresh. I don't want to be Robert Lima Beans no more. I want to be Robert Linguini.
Robert
Now
Linguini.
you have
You're
a
welcome.
chance.
Yeah,
There you go.
That's it.
Well, guys, are you ready to dive into the main segment of our show?
I think let's do it.
So, guys, like we said earlier, the main topic of the show that we want to discuss today is the goal that we have as a staff, as a church for 2022. And a lot of times when people think about New Year's, they're thinking in the terms of resolutions. They're thinking about, like, this year I'm going to do this differently, or I want to lose this much weight or read this many books or they have some sort of marker of success for the year. But a while back, we talked about the difference between setting resolutions versus setting goals for the new year. Dr. Shaw, do you want to talk a little bit about like what the difference is and why we prefer to set goals rather than resolutions?
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with having resolutions. If to me, at least have something that you are striving towards. There are people out there who are, I don't know, what do you want to call them? But they're very existential in their mentality. Like, I just go with the flow. I don't need a goal. I don't need resolutions. So if you have resolutions, great. But the goal that we have in 2022, and after prayer, we have strategy planning meetings, and we prayed, is the word abundant came up.
Yeah.
Abundant. And when we say abundant, we're not just talking about having more money, success, happiness, although we want everyone to have that, okay? I'm ready for that in 2022.
Absolutely.
Okay? We need some good news. So having said that, the abundant we have in mind is bearing fruit in the kingdom of God, bearing more fruit. So abundant in your home, abundant in your family, in your marriage, with your children, in your workplace, in the community, and in the church life, bearing fruit for the kingdom of God, and even personally. Personally, finding a place in God's eternal plan and seeing how God is doing things and changing lives and becoming part of that harvest.
Yeah.
That's what we want to do.
I think it goes hand in hand with what we talked about in season 1, your vine and fig tree. You're chasing that vine and fig tree. That's God's fruition of the abundance that He promised.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I remember we had talked a while ago about the difference between goals and growth. So how is abundant not growing? And how is it just a goal? Or is it both?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I think every day we should be growing. There should be something that you're learning, something that you are, changing in your life for the better. So every day there should be some growth. But also goals are important. It's like someone said, people who don't have goals is like taking a bow and arrow and shooting it, and then going and drawing a circle around it.
Yeah.
Saying, there you go.
I hit
That's
it.
true.
I did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Good for you.
Yeah.
But rather have a target, especially as believers, prayerfully chosen target that God is giving us, and then going after it with everything we have. And the whole time we're trusting God and knowing that is God working through us that is going to bring about that abundance.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I feel like with like growth versus goals, when you think about it, goals are how you channel that growth. Like you want to grow in a certain direction, so you set a goal, and then it's like, okay, now I'm going to grow towards this goal, and it's not necessarily one versus the other. And I know we talked about that a little bit in the podcast. So if you want to go listen to that, that's a whole nother episode. But that's kind of where I see it.
But that's true though, because if you don't, if you're just setting goals and you're just meeting those goals, I can still be the same miserable, washed out person at the end of accomplishing that goal. The goal, I guess, is really to accomplish your goals, but grow along the way. It's supposed to change you as a person.
See, we're doing a series in our church called Abundant, of course, from John 15. I am the vine, you are the branches. Okay, so our goal is to bear more fruit, right? That's what Jesus said. That I want you to bear more fruit. Without me, you can do nothing. But the key there is without me, you can do nothing. There's a lot we can do on our own. A famous person in yesteryear, church life, Alan Redpath, said it this way. He said, in the Christian life, we can fail miserably or succeed more miserably.
Wow.
So I don't want to succeed more miserably. And succeed more miserably is when you do things in your own power and your own strength. So I want to grow.
That's true.
And in the process, reach the goal God has for me.
So one's not more important than the other.
I would say it's a process. They're both part of the process. So just like Alan Redpath, we can fail miserably and succeed more miserably if there is no growth. If I am not becoming part of the vine, which is who is Christ, and more connected to Him, more in love with Him, more obedient to Him, letting His life flow through me. At the end of the day, if things don't hit that goal, I'm still confident that God is working all things together for good. So I'm not despairing. I'm not discouraged. I'm not upset. I'm not blaming people. I'm not like, you know what, forget this. I'm out. None of that. I'm growing.
Yeah. I think that optimism played a part in us picking this theme for the year because in 2021, we started so many projects and a lot of them came to fruition, but also a lot of them didn't.
Right.
You know, at the end of the year, I was frustrated and I was, you know, we had a lot of stuff in the works and it's still coming out. So I don't want to give too much away, but I was frustrated with myself that, you know, I've started at least 4 or 5 big projects this year and all of them are on the cusp of completion, but none of them are out. So what good is it really doing anybody? I can keep telling people, hey, things are coming out, things are happening, but if they don't see it, you know, it's just, but rather than sit there and pout and be frustrated, it was kind of what we talked about.
We never got to a place where like, you know what, I'm so disappointed in myself. I'm so frustrated. I just I have no hope. I don't know how things are going to work out. No, none of that.
Yeah.
We were actually like, yeah, we really wanted to accomplish this and achieve this, but that's okay. We did a lot of plowing this year. We did a lot of, sowing the seeds this year.
Yeah.
Next year, which is now
Yeah,
2022.
now 2022.
Yeah. It's time for harvest.
I love that mindset too because it keeps you from falling into like these just set of check boxes. Like, okay, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished this. But just like you said, we can succeed miserably, or we can grow, we can change as individuals, we can develop and allow, you know, in a Christian context, allow God to develop us into the men and women He would have us to be. So while we might still be meeting those check boxes, there's a bigger goal in place. There's a larger finish line out there ahead of us, and I think that mindset keeps that in view.
One thing I really like about our theme for this year with abundance is it kind of reminds me that I know that throughout 2020 and 2021 we put in a lot of work, and not trying to like pat ourselves on the back or anything, because I'm not trying to be like, I guess, false humble or also be too prideful, but we put in a lot of work. And I feel like a lot of people would say that, okay, you put in the work, but you don't need to expect any results. You need God will bless you if He blesses you, and if He doesn't, He doesn't. But I feel like with our theme, with abundance, we're expecting God to bless us, but we're not demanding it, obviously.
Right.
But it's almost like we believe in what we've done, and we believe in what you've said you will do for people who work.
Right. And abundance, again, when I reaffirm that, it's not more money, success, happiness, although all those things are wonderful. And I hope everybody has those things. You're praying for a relationship, I hope you get a relationship. You're praying for a better job, I hope you get that. You're praying for better finances, I hope you have all those things. The abundant life we're talking about is more fruits, seeing more souls in God's kingdom.
Yeah.
And you know, whether it's books we're writing or EPs we're producing or short films that are coming. I mean, a lot of things. They're all part of this abundant life.
I was actually reading about being fruitful the other day in my devotions, and one thing that I took from it was, am I being fruitful in every relationship that I'm in? So you can be fruitful in your life, like, oh, how many people have I led to Christ? What ministries am I serving in? How am I blessing someone's life today? But are you being fruitful in your relationships?
Yes.
So
Good point.
are the people that you're communicating with, the people that you're hanging out with, are you guys creating fruit together? And so
That's a great point.
I've been looking at my relationships from like friendships to family to just people I meet every day. And are those relationships creating fruit? Because that's also where fruit can come from.
Absolutely.
You're right.
So it's not just about having a bunch of grapes, but I want to have some good grapes. So, it's not just like this year I have 200 more friends. No, that's not the point. You could have only 2, but those 2 people through your life are more like Christ. There's abundance there.
And it's also a great way to evaluate those relationships that you're having so that you can see if something's not producing fruit, why.
Right.
So you can see, is this person that I'm thinking of, a toxic relationship, or is it something that I'm doing that I can change and affect, and now we're producing fruit together? It's a great way to kind of reevaluate everything.
And I will say people that are in dating relationships or engaged or whatever, make sure that that relationship is creating fruit, because I mean, that's going to be a big part of your life. So why not make sure that that is creating the right type of fruit?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to dig too far into the analogy of being fruitful or being abundant, but in that being fruitful process, is it possible to produce like bad fruit or sour fruit, or is it either you're producing fruit or you're not in this context?
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, that just that idea that you brought up can go in several directions. For example, there are some people who are harmful. They are going to be toxic, and that's not going to change. And in that situation, the best you can do is keep your eyes on Christ, keep shining the light, keep bearing fruit, but you keep moving forward. Okay, so that's also part of that discussion. Also, in your own life, if there's sin, if there's disobedience, if there's something in your life that is getting in the way, then asking God to cleanse you, to forgive you, so that you can keep bearing fruit. Am I right? Is that the right direction you were going?
Because, like I said, every analogy eventually will break down, but that was something that kind of came to my mind, because I know that, in real life, when you look at a tree, like maybe with apples, there are good apples, and then there are the ones that are just kind of like rotten and bad. And I didn't know if that was something that also applies spiritually.
I do like that analogy you brought up, Pastor Shaw, because it's one of those things where you gave an example in one of your sermons lately where, your dad would bring trees from all over India and he would plant them in your garden. And just because the tree was there, the conditions weren't right. It wasn't the right type of soil. It wasn't the right type of climate. So yes, it would produce fruit. But just like you said,
they were not good.
if nobody wants to eat it. So it's kind of like you said, like if your conditions aren't right, if you've got sin in your life, or if there's, unconfessed, bitterness or whatever it may be,
right?
Like, you may produce fruit, but is it the fruit God wants? Is it the fruit other people want?
And that's what Jesus meant when he said that, the Father will prune you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He will. I remember seeing Dad taking a pair of shears, and he would go out there and just kind of clip certain branches, and I mean, great analogy for me to see that in real life. And he was pruning.
Yeah.
Well, another way that, going back into the analogy, but it still fits. The only way that a tree is going to produce good fruit is if it's in the right soil.
Yes.
So, in the Bible, it does say
the
that
foundation.
we need to be a tree planted by the water.
Yeah.
Well, another way that people say that is you need to have your house built on the rock. Mm-hmm. And in Matthew 8, it says that the house is founded on the rock. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say it was moved onto the rock.
Right.
It says it was founded.
Right, foundation.
And it doesn't mean that you have to start that when you're a kid. It's never too late.
That's right.
To start bearing fruit.
Absolutely.
It's never too late. Even if you're 90, 97, 100, whatever.
Yes.
It's never too late. Start bearing that fruit now. Why not? Why not? You haven't lost anything. Absolutely. Let's just move forward. Let's not worry about the time that we didn't bear fruit. Let's start it now and leave the old house behind. Just leave it, leave everything in your past and build that new house and bear that new fruit.
And if I can add one more thing to this discussion while we're at it, is, when you're in this mindset of bearing fruit, you don't have to worry about it. You can have the goal, but you don't stress about it. Have you ever seen a branch stressing about bearing fruit? It doesn't. As long as it's connected to the vine, the conditions are right, there is a soil, there is a sunlight, there's water, there's a right fertilizer, whatever, it's going to happen. So our job is to just make sure those conditions are right. God will bear the fruit.
I love that. Abundant. Abundant is the theme for 2022 for us here at Clearview. And we're excited to see what God does with that. We're excited to see where God takes that this upcoming year. Yep. And we want to hear from you guys what your theme for 2022 is. Maybe you've been listening and maybe abundant resonated with you, or maybe you've got a different thing that God's laid on your heart or a different direction that you want your life to go in 2022. Yes. Write in, let us know what your theme is, what your goal is for this upcoming year. And we might even just read it next week on the podcast.
That's
so
right.
We want to hear from you guys what your goals are for 2022. You guys ready for our last segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yay.
right, so this last segment is titled "Advice Nobody Needed." That is our last segment of the show today. And we're gonna
Unfortunately,
give you
advice nobody asked for was taken.
Yeah.
Advice nobody needed. So we're going to give you some advice. Each one of us, for different weeks, is going to take a piece of advice that we've been, maybe has made an impact on us, or maybe we feel like would benefit you, and we're going to offer that advice to you. Advice nobody needed, or maybe even asked for, or wanted, or regrets receiving.
It's honestly, it might not even be helpful.
It might not, but here we are.
I
So-
have a feeling mine this week is not going to be well received.
Well,
But I'm
John,
gonna go
So
for it.
you're the advisor?
Yeah, this is my week. So every
Okay.
week we'll
boy.
each turn. There's also another segment. There's another segment we talked about in episode 100. It was going to be called the Tea Parlor, but Rebecca renamed it. Do you actually want to? This has nothing to do with unsolicited
best
advice.
name ever.
But I'm
Okay.
so impressed with the name. I feel like you should say the new name.
Okay, so we were talking about it, and we were like, it's where we can just gripe. Okay, it's not really tea. We're not spilling tea about
We ain't
anybody.
gonna gossip about
We're
nobody.
not gossiping. It's just what we're griping about. So the segment is now going to be called The Grapevine.
The grapevine.
You know what? That's
We're bearing
I
fruit,
heard
right?
with
Exactly.
abundance.
I am
Exactly.
currently working on some decals for the grapevine.
Yeah.
For
So
right now,
just
for
stay
right
tuned
now,
for
we're
those.
gonna do. We want to get more segments, but we'll alternate weeks. So this week will be advice no one needed. Next week will be the grapevine.
That was
Right.
my idea. It literally just
I was
came
very
to me.
impressed.
That's
I
Everybody
could've-
just kind of stopped and stared at me. They were like,
It's genius.
It
I
is.
she
could've-
actually said something really funny.
can see-
and I was like, okay.
I can see T-shirts.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
grapevine.
Bumper stickers.
Come
I
on
had a
down.
funny moment. I can be
Grapevine.
funny
Grapevine.
sometimes.
I was gonna wait till next week when we actually did the grapevine, but I was so impressed. I wanted to just shout out to Rebecca right
Yeah,
now.
see,
So
that's
make
how
sure-
sad it is. I am not funny at all.
No, I don't.
If you're not,
you're
if
more
you're
subtle.
not already, if you're not already, be sure you subscribe to the podcast. Be sure you subscribe to the video cast so you don't miss the grapevine coming next week.
Grapevine is next week, and then every other week. But for now, advice no one needed. Okay,
Yes.
so here's my advice. This has been rocking my world, and I think you guys ought to try it at the house. Every time I take a shower, and I mean every single time, morning or night, mostly at night. It feels the best at night. At the end of your shower, just for 2 or 3 minutes, turn the water. Brace yourselves. Just turn it to cold.
Wow.
Turn the
no.
water because
Cold?
turn the water at the very end. I'm not saying take a cold shower. Just get it as hot as you can stand it. Take your shower, and then at the very end, just turn some cold water on. Let it pour over your head. It feels so
Horrifying?
amazing. No, it
Horrifying.
feels good.
Awful.
What?
I'm hearing bad.
Explain why it feels good, because I'm real confused.
I'm a
right now.
hot-natured person already.
Okay.
Especially when I'm in need of a haircut.
Sure.
The hair, it'll get kind of long. It's real thick. The Ellie has the.
I have it worse than you, and I don't want to do that.
I'm telling. But are you hot-natured?
No.
Okay, just there will be a lot of times I'm at the house. I'm hot. I've had a long day. I sweat. I just go in there. I take a hot shower, but then I just slowly, not all at once, and put your body into a shock, but just really slowly turn the water to chilly and then to ice cold, and only for a few minutes. But it feels. You know what I'm talking
So
about.
here's my confession. I've been doing the same thing for about 3 weeks now. I'll just run a hot shower. I'll take a shower. I'll get nice and clean. And then at the end of the shower, I don't do it gradually. I just yank it all the way to the side.
You're sort of a lunatic.
and start a timer on my watch for 3
Oh.
minutes.
Yeah, that's a lunatic.
And I'll let it just hit me for 3 minutes. The first time I did it, I did look and feel like a lunatic because it just like shocks you. Your breath is gone. It's like,
I'm not into it for that. I don't want to shock my
But-
body.
Okay,
but
okay. Here's the
now-
thing. Here's why I can't do what you're asking. Okay.
Please, this personal favor to me. Won't you do it?
I
Here's
can't
why
follow
I
this
can't
advice
accomplish this.
because being cold puts me in such a bad mood. I get in such a bad mood, and I'm just like,
But I'm
I
not
hate
gonna-
being cold.
I feel
And I just don't want it, and
if
so then
you-
I'm just mad that I got cold that morning for the
I feel
rest
like
of
if
the day.
I ran, if I was in a hot shower and then I turned it to cold, I feel like I would be cold for the rest of the day.
No,
Like,
it
that's
doesn't
just-
work like that.
I can't warm up
Look,
from that point.
Yeah,
you
that's how
finish
I
at the
am.
gym. You finish at the gym. You have a nice hard
Especially
workout.
after a workout, it feels good.
You have a nice hard workout, right? Your muscles are sore. You run it hot. Let your muscles get nice and loose under that hot water. And then,
Shock the
Turn it-
daylights out of them.
yeah, then you turn it all the way to cold, and you just sit for 3 minutes.
Oh!
After about
No, that's
yeah,
torture.
so
No.
after
literal
like the
torture.
third day, after the third day, it was no problem at all. I can do it, and I can still do it now, and
That's
it's
your
not
body
an
screaming
issue.
for help.
Again, I do want to clarify. I'm not in this for shock factor. It just is a good way to cool off. It feels really
Well,
refreshing.
I can
That-
go and assure you all you have to do is have 2 or 3 girls, and you will have without turning the water.
Without
It's just
even
always-
necessarily
Yeah,
wanting it.
that
That's
sounds
gonna be
like-
the
it'll just
reality.
happen.
I was gonna
Just
say,
happen.
you-
That's
And-
partly the reason I don't want to do it is because growing
Yes.
up in a family with 4 children
Yes,
and 2 parents,
I had to
at the
come
end of the
screaming.
night, it just did it
Jeez.
naturally, and I
Yep.
hated it.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was about to say. That just sounds like my childhood. There were 6 of
Yes.
us too, and just like
That-
growing up, if you got the
yeah.
last shower, that's exactly what it was, and you had
we
no
try to
choice.
stagger showers throughout the day because my kids are all we have 5 of them, but they're little, so we try to stagger showers throughout the day. But if there's a lot backed up together, the last person's gonna.
But here's something very interesting in history. You know, Thomas Jefferson would get up in the morning and he would have cold water and he would put his feet in the water.
Yeah, it wakes you up.
Yeah. Oh, he did something to
Yeah.
him, but
Yeah.
I don't know what he did. But he's recommended that.
huh?
Put your feet in cold water.
Yeah.
And then begin your day.
Yeah.
I like my water like scalding.
No.
Like
Like,
to come out and like everything,
I wanna
your
be
neck is just
steaming.
flush.
Yes.
like
No.
yeah.
Yes.
Nope.
No.
You
I
got
want,
Like,
to
I
be
want
in.
steam
I want
coming
to look
off
like a
of
lobster,
me.
like be pink. That's what I want.
You want to be hurt.
I want to be
Yes.
lightly pink.
Say it.
I want to be
Yeah.
hurt. I want to be burned. I want to have 2nd-degree burns.
Yes.
And I'll be happy.
No.
No,
Little bit.
all that.
That's the
That
other
might be a
extreme. That's
little
why
much.
I had cold water.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's my advice that no one needed for the week. Take it or leave it, but I recommend all you guys listening try it at the house.
Yeah,
You'll be
just
glad
do
you
it.
did.
No.
Do it
It's a
at
bad
least
idea.
for 3 days in a row, and if you don't like it after the 3rd day, you can quit.
So you
And
already
just know
sold.
that Just know that
Yeah, yeah.
John's views on cold showers don't necessarily reflect the views of the rest of us. So if you take a cold shower and you don't love it, please don't write us angry fan.
Remember, the rest of us
Don't at
warned
me.
you. We told you not to do it.
I'm gonna laugh if like
We
in-
just offered
in-
some caution.
if
We
next
already
week
complained
we
about a
get fan
cold
mail.
office.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna write in next week and be like, "This changed my life. I promise."
For the
Or they're
better.
gonna be like, I can't stand.
Or they're gonna
you.
be like, "I just went into shock and I need carpet mignon to front the hospital bill."
No,
Like,
no,
I'm
thank
not
you.
liable
Oh.
if you get hurt.
All right. Well, let us know how that advice landed for you guys, or if you have some advice that maybe you've been thinking about, stuff that is making an impact on you that you think we could benefit from. Write into Carpe Mignon at clearviewbc.org. We'd love to hear from you guys. Love to get some advice that we didn't ask for from you guys. So maybe we'll get some of those advice segments on the show as well.
I was going to say, congratulations, gang, on our first successful video podcast.
Yay.
Can we shout out
Congratulations.
our friend Nicholas over on the video switcher?
Shout
Thank
out
you.
to
Hey,
Nicholas.
Nicholas.
We love you, Nick.
Thanks,
We
Nick.
love
Should I
you.
get up and take a camera and point it towards him?
Maybe next time.
Okay,
maybe
I'll do it
next
next
time
Take
we'll
a
do
picture and post it on.
Yeah, we'll post it on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Nick. All right.
And all these episodes, all these video podcasts will be available on YouTube, on Facebook, on the Apple Podcast app. So make sure you guys are subscribing so you don't miss a single week, especially next week. Rebecca told you about it. You want to be here for the grapevine. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really excited about that. Make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss anything, and we'll see you next time on Carpe Mañana.